Jean-Luc Godard is one of the few major figures who helped to transform the cinematic landscape in the early 60s to remain central to discussion of the medium's potential. That is partly because he lived and worked long enough to see his early challenges to accepted practice evolve into emblems of style. Made in USA, for example, a playful exercise with political pretensions, is most memorable for its roguish wit and Godard's incomparable ability to rethink how movies can be made. Despite imagery still startlingly fresh, however, USA also unfortunately reminds us what a tedious, pretentious pedant Godard could be when he had a point to make. I remember the disdain expressed for Godard by production students in the 1990s. Their attitude could be summed up as Godard couldn't direct his way out of a paper bag. Clearly, his competence remains the central question. But even if Godard was incompetent in traditional terms, there are plenty of hacks who have been worse. So, why should traditionalists still feel compelled to criticize him? Take as just one example the notorious close-ups on a tape recorder in Made in USA. In traditional filmmaking terms, these shots are ludicrous. Why concentrate so long on the tape recorder, particularly as the recordings have no plot significance? Why magnify the grating audio quality to the point of making it almost unbearable? Why put the plot on hold in order to look at an everyday object? In fact, that irritation is to awaken us to how film audio is usually manipulated so that we do not notice it. We are forced to look at the recorder for so long to see it for the first time. Instead of moving the story forward, the shots remind us that all films are constructed. So Godard used the detective fiction in USA as a starting point, not as an end in itself. But, and this is critical in understanding the hostility, he remained within a narrative framework. He thus avoided being dismissed as an experimental filmmaker, but refused to adhere to the rules of standard narrative. You can follow his films without a background in the critical theory that was current at the height of his influence. It helps, but his work is not difficult. For the traditionalist, it is something much worse. It is different. Which is why it continues to entertain purely as style. Godard probably hated that his work could be patronized as so 60s by viewers who would rather consume the latest franchise movie than engage with any serious cinematic expression. Thus, the bitter irony. Whatever you may think of them, treating Godard's films as just one more accessory is a sick joke on him, on film, and on us.